What's up, comic book fans, and welcome to Comics Icons. Now, JJ, what they call me, and today we got more gang war. This time with issue number 16 of Miles Morales' Spider-Man. And I'm gonna let y'all know right now that this issue is action-packed, with fights on almost every single page. And by the end of this issue, somebody is getting betrayed because the fix is in, and this victim never saw it coming. And if you guys need to catch up on how we got here, I'll leave a card up top so you can go back and check out the videos that led to this point, and then you can come on back over here to this one. But as a quick refresh for everybody else, when we last saw Miles, he received some intel from his uncle Aaron, aka the Prowler, who had started out in this war teamed up with Hobgoblin. But then he convinced Miles that he was only playing Hobgoblin to get the 411 on his plans. Then we found out that Hobgoblin had teamed up with one of Miles' fiercest foes in Rabble, who had teamed up with him because he promised to help her fix her unstable powers. Then Uncle Aaron led Miles and his team to Hobgoblin's hideout. And while half the team took on the enemies that guarded the outside of the hideout, Uncle Aaron, Miles, Kamala Khan, and Gust all went inside through the roof. And as they got in, Aaron had Gust hang back for backup, while he planned to catch Hobgoblin off guard as Miles and Kamala then sneak in. But as Miles and Kamala went looking for Hobgoblin, they were quickly caught off guard by Hobgoblin and Rabble, who kind of seemed like they knew they were there. So if you guys are ready to find out what happened with Miles and Kamala, and who ends up being the traitor, then you guys know what time it is. Let's get it. So before we begin this issue, I gotta let y'all know that it actually takes place before the end of Amazing Spider-Man number 42, even though it comes after Amazing Spider-Man number 43 in the suggested reading order, which I'm actually not necessarily the biggest fan of releases like this because they sometimes spoil things. But you guys keep all that in mind when we get to the end of this. But we start this issue right off where the last one ended. And the heroes are in trouble as they thought they were sneaking up on Hobgoblin and Rabble. They ended up being the ones caught in a sneak attack. And one thing I gotta point out here is Rabble's design is sick. I really love her face mask and even her electric blade, which makes her a really good matchup for Miles and his Venom Blast sword. But she goes right after Miles since she has a huge grudge against him. But he's not alone as Gust immediately has Spidey's back and uses her wind powers to blow Rabble right up off of him. Then Miss Marvel embiggens and grabs Rabble, but Rabble can also talk to Tech, and she calls in a drone to blast Miss Marvel right in the back. Then fights off both Miss Marvel and Gust. Meanwhile, Miles is now taking on Hobgoblin, and he webs Goblin right off his glider and starts to administer the beats to old Hobbs. But Miles finds out quickly that Hobgoblin and Rabble got hella toys, as he and his team is attacked by a litany of drones. But while this fight is going down inside of Hobgoblin's base, we transition to just outside, where another fight is going on. And Scorpion, Starling, and Glurp are out there giving all they got to keep these guys distracted. But this Spidey backup team is really kind of getting their asses handed to them. And I'm not usually one for complaining or trash talking another person's creative works by any means. But one of the guards they're fighting is Lady Stiltman. And that name just makes no sense to me. I mean, I can accept Lady Stilt or Stilt Lady or even just straight up Stiltman. But Lady Stiltman, for somebody who isn't gender neutral, I mean, if she were gender neutral, then I could understand, but she's not. So I just don't get it. Maybe it was for comedy's sake, I guess, but I digress. And if this is a character that you really like, then my apologies, but like I said, I don't get it. But anyway, like I said, these guys are getting mollywopped. But then Scorpion comes up with the idea to try to get these guys to flip on Hobgoblin. And his reasoning is actually kind of sound, as he says to him, when was the last time a goblin of any color actually followed through on their promise? And he's got a point there. As soon as this thing is over, you guys are the first ones he's putting in the ground. So how about we cut to the part where we all double cross him and be on our way? I can even sweeten the deal. If you join up with the Cape Killers, then I could get Agent Gal to make your records disappear. But the Shocker, he doesn't seem like he's going for it. But then we transition back to the inside of the building, and Spider-Man and Rabble are going at it. I mean, back and forth, thanks to Rabble's new upgraded suit. But Spidey, he's able to put her down for the moment, but he doesn't get much time to follow through when he notices Hobgoblin getting the better of Miss Marvel and Gust. And when Hobbs launches a pumpkin bomb towards the ceiling right above them, Spidey has to think fast, and he webs up the rubble before it can crash down on Miss Marvel, who's embiggened while Gust hides under her. Then Spidey goes after Goblin, but Hobbs then calls in an army of Goblin drones. He and Rabble both got their own individual army of drones here, but Spidey, he's handling them pretty easily. Meanwhile, Miss Marvel and Gust are kind of proven to be liabilities right now as the drones quickly overwhelm them. Then one of them explodes and it knocks Gust out. I mean, it's night time for her. So while Miss Marvel is helping her out and attending to her, it's now mano a mano with Hobgoblin and Spidey. But Goblin, he still has his drone army, and he sends them all straight for Spidey. And just as Spidey is hoping he's got enough juice left for his Venom Blast sword, there's a loud boom right behind Spidey. And when he looks back, it's the backup team along with Hobgoblin's goons. It actually worked. Scorpion actually convinced these guys to flip on Hobgoblin, and they all take out the drones. And as Hobgoblin looks to Rabble for some aid and assistance, she straight up skates off on him. And she takes some tech with her, saying to him that he served his purpose, and Madam Mask thanks him for his resources. Rabble was working for Madam Mask the whole time. And if you've seen my videos for Amazing Spider-Man numbers 42 and 43, then you guys know that these are Madam Mask's new gauntlets. Cold, cold world. And now Hobgoblin is pissed. And he too tries to get away, but then gets webbed in the back by Spider-Man and then kicked to the ground. Then Hobgoblin pulls out a couple of pumpkin bombs and tells Spidey that he's taking them all down with him. But Spidey quickly snatches them away from him with a couple of thwips. But Hobgoblin always has a backup plan. As we see, he's got the whole basement of this place littered with pumpkin bombs that somehow didn't go off during all the other explosions. But hey, comics, right? But he sets off one right next to a crate full of them, and Spider-Man and crew book it up out of there, leaving Hobbs behind. And just as they barely make it out, the whole building explodes. Then later on, Agent Gal shows up, and she tells Spider-Man that his truce with the Cape Killers is up. She actually tries arresting him again, but Spidey's squad blocks her off, because he just got a call from the other Spider-Man, and now he's got to bounce, because it's about to go down in Central Park. But Miles, he's on the way to help with the events of Amazing Spider-Man number 43. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the issue. So what did you guys think? This was Miles' last Gang War issue, and in his next solo issue, number 17, he'll have to deal with the fallout from Gang War. But I thought his issues were okay. I still think Spider-Woman and Shang-Chi's issues have been better so far though, storyline-wise. But Miles's was better than Peter Parker's to me. But I'm wondering whatever happened to Uncle Aaron, because at the end of issue 15, he was supposed to be sneaking up on Hobgoblin. So I'm wondering if he tipped him off, then bounced, or what exactly happened. And I'm sure Hobgoblin, he somehow made it out too. But hopefully issue 17 fills us in on all of that. Miles also has his big legacy issue number 300 quickly approaching with issue number 18. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. It should be a pretty special one. But ladies and gentlemen, this Gang War is almost over. Just a few more issues left and it'll be in the books. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts are so far and which series in this event has been your favorite, as well as your least favorite. And if you guys still have any questions that haven't been answered from any of these series. But if you guys enjoyed this video and this channel, and you'd like to support the channel, then you could do so by joining the new Iconic Fan Club membership. And with it, you'll gain access to weekly interactive live streams with yours truly in front of the camera, where we could talk about what's been going down in these issues, as well as ones that you'd like for me to go over in the future. Plus, you guys will get loyalty badges, member shoutouts in these videos, and more. Or you can donate to the channel with the super thanks. And if you're not able to do either one of those, then you can also still help this channel out tremendously by dropping a like, share, and subscribing to Comics Icons for more icons in the comic book world. But ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. Peace.